All right. This is the first episode of Drunken Tamriel History.
Episode 0.
Yes, and
0.
I'm joined here with a lovely cast of a bunch of lore nerds and a bunch of noobs. Lore noobs, you can call them. First, I am Persigal. I am noob extraordinaire. All right. Who else?
Hi, my name's Alex, aka Athropex, on the ESO North American server. I'm a guild leader. I have a mixed bag of lore knowledge, mostly geared towards my own roleplay interests. But I like to get drunk, so there's the interest. There's my intersection with this podcast. Okay, next.
So, my name is Joey. I'm known throughout ESO roleplay as Arn Icebane. I've been playing the Elder Scrolls series for quite a bit of time, and the lore is extremely fascinating. I am also a fine connoisseur of the alcoholic arts, so that is I.
And I am Rebecca. I'm known as Guild Gremlin or Kala. I'm not Kala in the North American server. I mainly pertain to Bosmeri lore, but I've been playing Elder Scrolls since Skyrim, and I've been diving into the rabbit hole periodically ever since, and I did not bring enough mead.
Damn, you should probably get that fixed.
Rip.
Cringe.
Leave it to the Bosmer role player to not bring enough
Not be able
alcohol.
to get drunk. I
I
didn't introduce myself.
Oh,
Rebecca
yeah,
didn't even finish. Come on. You cut out. I think she
I'm
knows.
done.
She's done.
I'm
Oh,
done.
you're done. Okay, alright, that's fine. Okay.
Okay, hi, I'm Brooke. I am the other resident lore noob. I got dragged into Elder Scrolls RP by my boyfriend and have had a very skewed understanding of the lore ever since, so I'm here to learn. Please teach me. I don't know what's going on.
It's okay. I don't think the people that write the lore understand either.
Ooh.
No, that's
Right.
when we get the copyright stuff, and that is a hole I'm not going into today.
Next
Okay.
episode.
Let's just start the introductory episode by shitting all over Zenimax and Todd Howard.
Kirk Pride is trash.
Dude.
Todd Howard doesn't know what he's doing.
Wait.
All
Yeah,
hail
that
Lemon
is
Turtle.
that's the podcast.
Damn.
Welcome to Drunk Tamriel History. Good
Alright.
night. Drunk Tamriel History. Good
Alright.
night.
So, that being said, we're gonna start off with the Battle of Red Mountain. Plot twist, I have no idea what it is. And, these fine boys are gonna explain it. So,
And gal.
what the
Good
what the
sir.
hell is that? Is that a Game of Thrones reference?
I mean,
No.
it
does
might
sound
as
that way.
well be. It sounds like it, considering
Okay.
how Morrowind roleplay likes to go.
So
You see.
let's set the scene, right?
Alright.
So it's the first era, 700. And Real doesn't look like it looks in. Need a drink. Hold on.
He's like, I'm not drunk enough for this one. Hold on.
Okay, so like Tamriel is not the global scene and the layout of the races and various societies is not in play. It's a very
Well-
different pre-modern era.
Uh,
Alright.
Oh, you're supposed to talk more about it.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, by pre-modern,
Oh.
what does that mean? Like, because everything looks pretty old to me.
So, for retrospect, right now we're in the relatively early days, if I remember correctly, of the Alessian Empire. So, basically, long story short, the Alessian Empire is the precursor to the Imperial Empire. Elves enslaved humans in Cyrodiil. They said no, sir, and they rebelled. And they were led by Alessia, the Slave Queen, where you also get what's his name? I'm having a mind fart here. Pelinel. You got Pelinel.
Pelennor White
Pelennor
Strake.
Pelennor Whitestrake, the hero of men. And then you have Mora House, who is supposed to be a half bull, half demigod, lover of
he's a
Alessia.
Minotaur.
He's a
He's
minotaur.
Yeah.
It's also the son of Kine, aka Kinnereth, Kinarthi, whatever of the races you are and how you worship her. It's really weird and convoluted and really, really furry-ish. So,
Furry?
yeah.
Wait.
Yeah,
A little bit. But anyways,
Alright.
we're in Morrowind. And in Morrowind...
In
Go ahead.
Morrowind?
Saying there are rumors
said
that Alessia and Mora House were lovers, but that's never been confirmed.
Wait, so is this talking about the furry, or are we still in Morrowind?
No. So we're just setting the world stage, right? This is that the Alessian Empire
is
currently a thing.
new. They're new to the world. It's really not that big either. I don't remember exactly how big it encompasses. It's most of Cyrodiil and some parts of other places, but I don't remember exactly what all it entails. The Nords are just like kicking ass and
Their own
taking
fucking
names
thing.
Do
right
the Nords exist
Yeah,
yet?
they're genociding the Amorans at least are genociding the Snow Elves. From the best of my knowledge, the Alessian Empire is only within the region of Cyrod, which is later known as the Province of Cyrodiil.
Yeah,
And
there
in
we go.
Morrowind, you have the two, I guess, standing populations
this
of
time-
elves.
It's referred to as Resdane.
Yes,
mind you,
Resdane.
Resdane
And
and
the
the
more-
word is Cyrodiil.
Resdane, and the Dunmer don't actually exist right now. They're still
Yeah.
called the
We
the
will actually get to
Chimer.
that, I think, in this video.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, so to clarify, Alessian Empire is in Cyrodiil, which is
Okay.
now only referred to as the region of Cyrod. Skyrim is just starting to be populated by Amorans, who are genociding Snow Elves.
Still has
And
dragon.
then in Morrowind, what we know as Morrowind, which is called, what's that name again?
Resdane.
Resdane. You have two conflicting populations of elves, the Chimer or Chimer, I don't know how it's pronounced, and the Dwemer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the Chimer, and a little bit of background about them too, and why they're kind of at each other's throats. So the Chimer are the reason why the Chimer are almost indistinguishable from Altimer. They're still basically Altimer, except that they worship Daedra. That's why.
In Morrowind.
Right. That's why they went on an exodus from the Somerset, led by Saint Velothi, or Saint Veloth, to Resdane, aka now Morrowind.
They yeeted on over there because they were religious
You
freedom.
guys, I'm gonna
And
worship Daedra, and you can't
Yeah.
tell me otherwise.
Yeah, right. And then they're basically the angsty teens of the Elven world.
Got it.
And then you have the Chimer, who are, I won't even call them agnostic. They're just straight up irreligious, man. Like
Do you
they
mean
know-
the Dwemer? You
or
said
the
Chimer. Right?
Dwemer.
The Dwemer.
I did. You're right. The Dwemer.
Yeah, so they do
Oh.
their own things.
Oh, so-
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the
the
Dwemer, the Dwemer readily recognize the gods' existence. They just choose to give them the big old middle finger. Oh yeah, dude, they're science nerds. They don't give a shit about what the
They
gods
kinda-
think.
Kind of do their own thing. So
Yeah.
you have these two populations, right? The Chimer clans and the Dwemer clans. The Dwemer clans with their mostly underground cities. I believe they have above ground cities at this time too. Right or no?
Not
It's
really?
yeah, not really. Like if they
Okay.
do, they're very small outposts. Mostly they're an underground society.
Wait,
Yeah.
Okay.
so this is
Yeah.
like at the time of the robot people, right?
The Dwemer, the robot people.
Yeah, so the Centurions that you see in game, the little the Sentinels, the little robots that you see rolling around in the Dwemer
Yeah.
Dwemer
They're what's
ruins.
left.
Yeah, that's what's left. Yeah, man, these dudes for building robots and
Yeah,
I mean,
they
war
rejected
bots,
the gods
sex
and all
bots.
magic.
Damn. All right. And this is, I mean, because like everything's a ruin and we've never actually seen one, this is presumed to be like before Tamriel.
Let's put an asterisk on never seen one. We'll explain.
Oh, boy.
there is one confirmed Dwemer who
Well,
is
we'll
in.
go with that. Let's go back
Aren't
to
they
the
like super short?
No,
fat,
Little
actually.
manlet. Oh.
No,
they're
so
actually about the size of a regular elf, but
Oh.
the problem
No one-
is the people who discovered them were giants. So to
Yeah.
the giants, they're
they
short.
were dwarves.
Ah,
yeah.
so the Napoleon effect.
Yes, yeah, because Napoleon
of.
wasn't actually
Yeah.
that short.
All right, cool.
Okay, we're sorry. Okay, so anyways, yeah. So the Chimer and the Dwemer are currently in what's called the War of the First Council, which is the secular Dwemer raging war against the hyper-religious Chimer, as well as the Ashlanders of Ardenfell, who had all come together under this guy named Indaril Nerevar. He's a very important character to keep in mind. Nerevar is referred to multiple times and throughout like history, especially regarding Morrowind history. He's like paramount to a lot of their belief
Yeah.
systems and
He's
like
Elf
prophecies and
Jesus.
stuff like that.
He's Elf
He's-
Jesus.
Elf Jesus, yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
All right.
Yeah. So that's so the Nords kind of also are interjecting into this war after losing Morrowind, which they had previously conquered, but then got unconquered. So there's a lot of shit going on. But anyways, the Battle of Red Mountain is the climax of this war. It is like the fucking D-Day of of the First Council. It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy. So
They're sick of the Nord shit.
go ahead.
I'm just saying that they're sick of the Nord shit. So here we go.
Basically, yeah. The Chimer and the Dwemer decide to put aside their religious and their secular beliefs to fight back against the Chad Nords.
Wait. So who were the two factions that you said were there?
The Dwemer
Dwemer the Chimer.
and the Chimer.
What are the
Yeah.
Chimer again?
Okay,
The
so the
Chimer,
Chimer are like
Proto
Proto-
Proto Dunmer.
They have gold
They have
skin
gold skin.
like Altmer instead
We'll explain
of,
why they're the way they are now. Here
Yeah.
Okay, I was
towards
about
the
to
end
say
of this.
because man, that's quite the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Then you have
gold
Ashlanders
skin.
too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Oh,
like
yeah,
I
the
said,
Ashlanders.
they're basically still they're Altmer basically right now. They just
They're
call
just-
themselves Chimer.
Yeah.
They
They're
worship
Daedra
Daedra.
worshipping Altmer.
Ah, okay. And the Ashlanders, what are those?
So the Ashlanders are also Chimer, but they reject living in the formal societies of the houses.
Like the noble houses, so to speak.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Right.
Okay, got it. Like, yeah, they don't want to be part of the nobility.
Yeah.
They want to be their
They-
own thing.
It's very tribal, spiritual kind of life.
Okay.
Right.
All right, cool. So, you were saying.
Okay, do you want to get into like the start of the battle, or
Wait, can I just ask one more question? This is gonna sound really stupid, but I have a short attention span and think I
Same.
phased out at some point. Why are the Chimer, Dwemer, why are they fighting against the Nords? I think that's the crucial part.
So
of
the
this.
no.
The Nords
So
are
the-
cutting swaths through all of northern Tamriel right now. They're just conquering everybody. They're pissed off that they came here and the elves started slaughtering them, so they're just indiscriminately committing genocide against
Yeah.
every elf they see.
The
that
primary players in this war are the Dwemer versus the Chimer, right? Like it's not the Nords are kind of there, and they're kind of waging war like somewhat. They're not like central, right? The two big parties, right? The two head bitches are the Dwemer and the Chimer, and they're
Dwemer,
like
Chimer.
fuck you, and then the other one was like fuck you, and then one said do my fucking religion thing, and the Dwemer were like fuck you, we have science, and they started a war.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Wait, but
Right.
you
So-
said that the Nords came from somewhere. What? Where'd they come from?
The Nords were in
Mora.
Skyrim. The Nords were in
Oh,
Skyrim.
oh, I
at this
thought
So
time.
they-
they're
I
being
thought they,
led
like-
by,
Okay.
I think it was King Wolfhard or
Correct.
Wolfhard, however you say his name. And like I said, they're
Yeah.
just pissed off that the elves,
Okay.
I mean, reasonably, that the elves were trying to commit genocide against them the moment.
And they're just trying to get in there and be like, yeah, we're trying to restart the Empire, the Nords. Yeah, let's go. And so that, it's like if you saw, your two worst enemies fighting and you're like, it's free real estate. Would you
basically.
take it?
Alright, alright.
So
let's
that's what they
continue.
wanted to do. Okay, so basically, where do we start? The battle was there's a lot of different recounts of the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But basically
Yeah.
we're just gonna go through a general consensus
Yeah, there seems to
idea
be like
of it.
4 counts
The
of this
most,
entire.
the most widely accepted idea, we'll say. We'll leave dissenting theories and things like that for another day.
Alright.
Or we could just say them after.
Yeah.
Or we could just say like what actually happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go through the through Vivek's account, I suppose.
Ah, yes.
That turd.
That's Aaron's favorite
Oh,
people,
oh,
the
look,
tribunal.
Look, tribunal
Look. Of all the tribunal, all right. At least Vivek had at least some decency to leave somewhat of a suicide note before the events of Morrowind. So.
Oh. Oh, that's right. Wait, I like how a god, quote unquote, kills himself.
No, he doesn't kill himself.
No,
I'm
no.
Alexia. slaughters that dude, but
Oh.
he at least had the decency to tell people his actions, in a very.
Cross that bridge when we get there,
Alright,
Aaron.
right.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. You
We
got me
have to
there.
save
Yeah,
the
okay, so,
tribunal
like,
rant.
To explain the Battle of the Red Mountain, we have to start with why is the Red Mountain significant? So, going back to the very beginning of the war, basically, the Dwemer, after digging really deep in the bowels of the Red Mountain, had discovered the Heart of Lorkhan, which is, there's a lot of different recounts on what the Heart of Lorkhan is, but it is generally regarded as an object or basically a piece of the deity
Lorkhan.
Lorkhan.
It is. You do come across it in
Yeah,
in
but yeah,
Morrowind.
essentially, the gods are super pissed at Lorkhan for tricking them into creating Mundus, which is Nirn is the planet. Mundus is the name of the general plane of mortal existence.
Yeah.
It's the solar system.
So
It's
Akatosh
called the
got
solar
super
system.
pissed.
Fucking
Akatosh got super pissed that the gods destroyed Lorkhan.
Kameyad his fucking heart and threw it and yeeted it.
Wait, but who's Lorcan?
Akatosh, Lorkhan
The
is
trickster god.
the trickster god.
And
We're gonna
he
assume
pissed
you know who
off?
that is.
That's ironic.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
and so Akatosh, once Lorkhan was dead, Akatosh put his heart on a bow and arrow and launched it across
Yeeted
the
it.
area.
Just
And
fucking
it
Yeeted
landed,
it. And it landed in
yeeted
Red
it.
Mountain.
and
Oh,
it
nice.
landed in the Red Mountain. And that's what that is.
Now, that's kind of like the religious telling. But basically, the Dwemer had dug deep into Red Mountain, and they found this. And they're like, okay, we're going to fucking build a big-ass fucking mechanical god, and we're going to power it with this fucking thing. And, you know, the highly religious Chimer, who... Now, this is before the war started, right? Like, they didn't know about this until it was reported to them. And I believe the person who found out was Lord Warren Dagoth, right? Lord Dagoth was the one who...
Dagoth,
like, he was really good friends, and he's a Chimer, and he was really good friends with Dumac, who was like the leader of the...
Nerevar Indoril. Nerevar Indoril.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Nerevar was good friends with Dumac and Kagrak.
Right. Well, anyways...
Dumac, and real quick, Dumac is the king of the Dwemer.
Yeah.
Kagrenak is the king's basically chief scientist, whatever you want to call him. I don't remember the exact term, but he's the one who's actively experimenting with the heart of Lorkhan, and then we'll discuss what he's doing with that and the tools he's using with that soon, because all of that plays a huge role into the battle and the shit show that is Red Mountain.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, story short, the Dwemer had found the heart of Lorkhan. They wanted to make a mechanical god and power it using this thing. The Chimer found out and were like, "Bitch, no, that's not what you do. That's bad."
That is literally sacrilege.
Yeah.
The Dunmer were like, "Well, fuck you," and the Chimer were like, "Well, fuck you," and that's how this war started. But the reason the Red Mountain is essential to this part of the story is because the heart of Lorkhan is in Red Mountain, right? So obviously the Chimer, if they want to stop the Dwemer from fucking activating their mechanical god and rendering their religion useless, they needed to fucking go over there and pop a cap in some Dunmer asses, right?
I love it.
So that's what they were going to do. So
it absolutely is.
And the Nerevar was like, "All right, fucking get the bitches up," and they all hopped in their cars or wagons or whatever.
Or, I don't know, Silk
They
Striders.
fucking went there.
And yeah, now, what happened on the Red Mountain actually can differ, I believe.
Yeah,
Ark,
so it's
you have the most knowledge on this particular subject.
yeah. So what actually happens is up to a lot of accounts. You have the accounts of the Chimer, now the
Dunmer.
Dunmer, and then you have accounts that differ based on the Ashlanders and the Great Houses. You have the Nordic accounts of what happened, but the Nordic accounts really more or less only account for their own failures.
And then Dagoth has an account.
Yep, Dagoth has an account, so man, so basically what's going on is the Nords and the Chimer and the Dwemer are going at it. Again, the Dwemer and the Chimer join forces. They beat back the Nords. Well, that's all good and dandy. But then what happens after that is where the real shit show happens. So at this point now, so at this point now, the Dwemer and the Chimer are like, hey, we beat back the Nords. I guess we could put aside our religious and secular differences, be good friends. So at this point, Indril Nerevar takes Almalexia as his wife.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
bang.
Yep. She a thought, by the way, but
yeah, she is a major thought, but we'll get to that shortly.
One of the tribunal, and the tribunal's been around for this long. Damn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They're living lives.
They stole
like
divinity.
The whole thing.
They stole divinity.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
How
we're
they
gonna
did
get
that.
there like
Yeah.
in a couple minutes.
They're just like regular ass Chimer right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but you also have Sothasil and Vivek, who are also very close friends of Indro Nerevar.
You're all homies.
And yeah, they are, as well as Dagoth.
Yeah.
This is before he goes batshit crazy and tries to turn everybody into vampires.
Yeah, the tribunal used to be, it was less a tribunal, more a quintet, I suppose.
A quintet? What?
Yeah.
Like a group of 5 people.
Oh, okay, alright. So they were like a Getty. No.
Yeah. So anyways,
yeah, sure.
right?
Yeah,
like
anyway.
they're rolling up. They're the head honchos on this assault on Red Mountain, and the battle like starts when basically the Chimer lure some of the Dwemer out into the open outside of the mountain, and then like as the battle, like it's a battle, fucking people killing other people, some Dwemer stabs another Chimer, and that guy's like, yeah, that's my cousin, and all that shit, right? But the Vivek, Alexia, Nerevar, Dagoth are also there. I forget.
Yeah. So
yeah, he goes in, right? And basically, the 5 head honchos of the Chimer go into the Red Mountain, into Kragenak's and Dumak's Citadel.
Now, and keep in mind too, there's decades of peace. This is more or less the golden time for the Chimer, not the Dwemer, or not the Dunmer, but the Chimer, because they're getting along well with the Dwemer. They pushed back the Nords. They've got really good diplomatic ties going on right now. I mean, Dumak gave Indro Nerevar and Almalexia 2 really powerful swords as wedding presents, Hope's Fire and True Flame. Like, things are going really good. And then they figure out what's going on with Kagerdak and Dumak trying to create this god machine, and the Chimer get really pissed, like Twitter butthurt pissed.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So,
like, imagine if someone was screwing around with Jesus' corpse.
Yeah, basically is what's going on.
Yeah,
here,
fucking hashtag,
but it also goes beyond. It also goes beyond. You got to look at it too. It's going to go beyond religious. It's going to go beyond religious things
and
too.
More, please don't make a giant Jaeger to destroy Tamriel.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So, basically, yeah. Please don't make this doomsday weapon. It's going to offset the balance of everything. Blah 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 blah. So, the Chimer go to war with the Dwemer.
All right.
And this is the part where everything gets really muddled. No one really knows what happens. But this is the part where the Dwemer just...
My bad.
Sir,
Well, I didn't.
We went
think-
from war to Dwemer disappearing. But wait, we know that like Vivek and Nerevar and the whole tribunal, Nerevar plus Dagoth, go into the mountain, right?
yeah, they went into
That's
the
why they
mountain.
go in. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why they...
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
explaining
we
why
said
they
that.
go in. Okay, yeah. Okay.
They go in because because the Dwemer are making this doomsday weapon, and they're
Yeah.
like,
And
no, bro.
Kragernak's like, no, I'm gonna do this anyway.
Yeah,
and
this
you
is
have-
basically the holy grail, so to speak, the philosopher's stone of what the Dwemer are trying to do. They for them to create a god machine is just the ultimate culmination of their science. So again, the Chimer go in. They're not happy about this, understandably. They go to war with the Dwemer over it, and again, this is where things get really weird and accounts get very muddled. So it's really hard to know what goes on. But that's kind of the beauty of the lore of it, anyways, because once you know exactly what happens, it kind of takes all the fun out of it. But yeah. So
But
Chimer
as
in there
far-
fighting
At
Dwemer.
least my interpretation was, Kagrenak fucked around with the tools, and that kind of caused the dragon break.
Oh, it caused the dragon break. Isn't that when it's literally
No, it
just?
Didn't cause a dragon break.
Kind
No, it
break.
didn't cause a dragon break.
Oh no, I thought it
No,
did.
no,
Wait.
it didn't cause a dragon break.
No, people are just fucking liars. It's like the whole point.
What?
They're like,
what is the dragon break?
okay,
So,
well,
a drag-
yeah,
We'll talk about that
too
another
much.
day.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk
Okay.
about it another day.
Okay.
All
We should
can
get back on
say-
topic.
Moving on.
It's literally
I retract my statement.
it's an excuse made by the writers, to
It's
cover
a
It was
machina.
plot holes.
literally an excuse to make every ending in Daggerfall canon, and we'll leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're okay. So we're getting off track, but we need to
Yes,
focus.
we are.
Okay,
Okay.
so Dwemer, Doomsday Weapon, Chimer, religious beliefs. There's a clash, and the Battle of Red Mountain. The Dwemer are fighting the Chimer on the outside of the mountain, and the 5 important people, the Tribunal, Nerevar, and Dagothr, storm the citadel inside the Red Mountain,
Yes.
where the heart is. Right, so they
Yes.
roll up in
So-
there, and they're like,
They roll
"Fuck
up in.
you."
Now, it's not known, if they kill Kagrenak or not and all that, because again, they just
Dies.
they just disappear. No one knows exactly what happens to the Dwemer.
However-
Some people think that they were whisked away by gods. Some people think that they found a way to transcend physical bodies. Like, it's all very scientific and somehow metaphysical at the same time.
What goes on in the
However-
mountain is really fucking shady.
Yeah. However,
Yeah.
according to Vivek's account, Kagrenak used the tools on the heart after Dumak was killed,
Like
and,
activated it.
and that caused
That's
all
what.
that caused all the Dwemer to disappear because they were screwing
Yeah.
around with the heart of the god.
Basically, yeah. So, but again,
Fucking crazy.
how much? But then again, again, you can't really trust. You can't really trust
a
Vivek's
lot
account. Yeah, you can't trust Vivek's account too much because again, he's one of the part of the shady trio that got rid of Nerevar into real Nerevar to begin.
Yeah, so let's like reiterate how fucking shady this is, right?
Alright.
So 5 people go in, right? 5 fucking people, from the Chimer, right? They go in, and then Nerevar mysteriously dies. Dagothr is unheard of until
So-
he comes back and resurfaces and is fucking crazy and hates the Tribunal. And the
Kind of.
3 people that survive are basically
God
fucking
now.
God.
Basically, a little
Right.
bit of that is a little messed up. They all do come back. All 5 of them do come back. It's the shady shit that happens afterward because they get Wraithguard, they get Keating, they get Sunder. Those are the tools of Kagrenak that Kagrenak was using to try to harness
So that's
divine power from Lorcan's heart. But Nerevar said, guys, this stuff's too dangerous. We're literally fucking with divinity here. You guys need to promise me that we're not going to mess with it. Well, meanwhile, his best buddy, Dagoth was trying to figure out what exactly they were, so that way they could, figure out how to properly contain them, dispose of them, whatever. Well, at this point, he goes fucking bonkers, man. Like, this dude loses his marbles.
Yeah, something about researching the tools just drove him mad.
Yeah. And then at that point, this is where Indra Nerevar has to fight off his best friend. Dagoth takes refuge in Red Mountain, where he starts his little cult of the Sixth House.
Yeah.
And at this
house, the House of Troubles, it's
House
the
of Troubles,
unnamed
blah, blah,
house.
blah.
Yeah.
But it's believed that Indra Nerevar was mortally wounded in his fight with Dagoth and again, he goes back to his counselors and his queen. And again, that's Alexia, Vivek, and Sotasil. And he says, please promise me that you guys won't use this power to try to attain some kind of divinity. It's evil. We're not meant to touch it. Blah blah blah. Whatever he said.
They say Nabra.
No. Well, depending on which account, some accounts say that the tribunal then they're turned on him, and at that point they decided to seize power for themselves. Some say that Indra Nerevar died of his wounds, and they tried to keep their promise, but the temptation of power was too much for them, and they wound up stealing power for themselves, being led by Almalexia, who was considered the first one to achieve that kind of power.
Damn.
What do we call that power?
Freaking, it's not Kim, is it? No.
It's not Kim.
No, it's not Kim. That's something else. I'm too drunk. Okay. Anyway.
It's divinity. It's just divinity, is what it is.
You can see why, as the player, you're like, no. These fucking three guys are shady as shit. They fucking did some shit in there and didn't tell nobody.
Yeah.
They off this dude, off the other dude. Like, it's shady. But at the same time, it is believed that the power of Orkin's heart doesn't assumedly activate Midium, and then the fucking Dwemer disappear.
Yeah.
That's believed to be the story. Yeah, so in the process of all this shit going down, the heart of Lorcan also powers the crazy mechanical god, and the Dwemer are like, oh, hell yeah, and then poof, they're all fucking gone. Nobody knows where they went.
So what happened was that they, basically they had this heart, and it was powering this mechanical god, but because they were defeated, they just disappeared. Because the heart.
No,
was
it's
taken.
not necessarily because they were
defeated.
No,
it's that
because
they tried to.
I thought nobody
Kagrenac was
knew why
screwing
they.
around with the heart.
They incorrectly
Poof.
They incorrectly used divine power from the heart to try to power Numidium, which that they did. You know that they would have had to have done it wrong, because in Daggerfall you activate the Numidium. That's part of the big quest there at the end, is that you activate the brass god and it helps save the world. So whatever the Dwemer did, they did it wrong, and they yeeted themselves out of existence.
Numidium has been used a couple times in lore, and each time it is absolutely devastating. It's the Evangelion equivalent of launching a nuke on your.
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
It's a machine god.
Yeah,
wild.
it's like an Ava unit.
But anyways, so that's where I was talking about Vivek writing a confession note and basically a suicide note towards the end there. You can find it in the 36 sermons of Vivek. There's 37, but that one doesn't really count. No one really knows why it was added, but
it was added
there's
in
a hidden
ESO, and that's not really considered that canon.
Yeah, it's not really that canon. What is in that game? But you can find a hidden message in there. Hold on, I can pull it up for you. 36 lessons of Vivek. I'm trying to remember exactly what it says, but basically
He doesn't confess to killing Nerevar.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't directly confess, but it's more or less implied.
Like, I betrayed Nerevar, etc.
Yeah. Where is it at here? There we go. So, there we go. Yeah, so you can find the message "foul murder" hidden inside of Sermon 36, and if you use Sermon 29 properly, you'll find another hidden message which says he was not born a god. His destiny did not lead him to this crime. He chose this path of his own free will. He stole the godhood and murdered the Hortator. Vivek wrote this. So it's a very roundabout way of Vivek saying that he was involved in the murder of Indiro Nerevar and that he feels awful for it. But at this time too, he's worshipped as a god. So to just outright come out and say, yeah, no, by the way, guys, we lied. We actually murdered Elf Jesus, and
You can't
in order
just
to
say
kill power.
that.
Yeah, like that's just gonna completely upset society.
And that gives the Ashlanders more legitimacy, which they don't want.
Right. But
Oh. Side note about the tribunal becoming the tribunal after
is
screwing
the
around,
reason.
after screwing out the heart. Azura came down.
Oh yeah, I was getting ready to bring that up. Yeah, she
Wait.
was pissed.
Prince of Dusk and Dawn. She came down.
She's considered one of the good, quote unquote, Daedra,
quote-unquote good
although realistically there's no such thing as a good or technically bad Daedra.
Right.
Yeah.
Shady.
Yeah, the Dunmer originally worshipped Azura, Boethia, and Mephala.
All right.
Now, I don't know why they consider Boethia Mephala good Daedra, but I will digress on that point for now. Azura came down like, yo, guys, you can't be running around walking like gods. You have to worship me, or else I will curse you and your people will suffer. The tribunal are like, screw you, we're gonna be gods. And she's
Wow.
like, okay, fine.
Did this happen
then
at the battle? I forget.
No, this didn't. This happened after they stole
Oh,
divinity.
so this is
Yeah.
later. Yeah, this is later.
Yeah,
This is later.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, they're like, screw you, we're gonna be gods. And Azura's like, fine, you're all tainted. Every last one of you and your people will suffer for what you have done to me.
For all
and-
eternity. She has no plans of ever restoring them back to the way they were.
Absolutely, and that is the moment the Chimer became the Dunmer, because she cursed them with ashen skin.
Oh, look at
Well,
that.
this event is really the big culmination of a lot of things. And we've gone over the fucky parts regarding Dunmer history alone, including Ashlander history, of course. But there's also a lot of different races and societies had commentary on the Battle of the Red Mountain. The biggest is probably the Nords, who have this sort of twisted kind of recount of being involved in the war between the Dunmer and the Chimer. Long story short, they just kind of say they were involved, and when opportunity struck, Wolfarth, who had previously died, was reborn as they called him the Ash King or some shit, right? And they rolled up to fucking Morrowind, and the dirty fucking Dunmer elf people fucking activated the heart of Lorcan, right? Lorcan being Shore in Nordic society, and fucking yeeted them all into oblivion, and they all fucking died.
Wow.
That's basically their recount. They said basically we didn't lose the war. Just that massive burst of energy just killed all of us, and that's why we lost. No worries.
All right, that's
So
what
maybe
the
we'll
I
Dunmer
mean,
really
say.
well.
generally speaking, depends on who you talk to, because there are many Nords who also say that Kine basically withdrew her favor from them because they were running around using the Thu'um to subjugate and conquer other races. When the whole reason why the Nords believed that Kine gave them the Thu'um to begin with was so that they could in turn overthrow their own overlords, aka the dragons. Yeah,
Wait,
so
the
basic
Thu'um is like the voice of
Fusro
the
Da,
dragons.
right?
Yeah,
the
the
Fusro
Thu'um
Da.
is the voice.
Okay.
So yeah, dude, ancient Nords used to be able to do
All of
the
them.
Thu'um like it was just like
Jay chilling.
yeah, like it was their it was their backhand.
Meanwhile,
But again-
Ulfric is such a scrub, he takes 15 years just to learn Fusroda.
Wow, what a fucking nerd.
Yeah, but even when he does learn it, like that's how big of a cultural change that was for the Nords, right? Because like in Skyrim, you see like he learns how to do that, and immediately he's like fucking like S tier powerful.
hero.
Yeah, he's fucking the big dog.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
but yeah, the Nordic account basically says what Alex said was the activation of the heart of Lorcan or the heart of Shore.
The
As
destruction
well
of
as-
his body underneath. That's
Yeah,
important.
as well as Kine withdrawing her favor from them was their reason for losing.
Long story short, there was a bunch of fucky shit, and then the tribunal came out, and we're like, we're all okay, we won the battle.
AKA one of my personal favorite shit shows of Elder Scrolls lore.
I actually think this is too fucky. Like, I look at the Battle of Red Mountain, and I look at, like, ways it plays into, like, Morrowind especially, and it just, like, makes me angry. It's like, why is it... Like, it's so... The mystery... Like, if it were a good mystery, like, and there were good, like, different recounts, I would be happy. But, like, it's so convoluted... It's so watered down by so many. It's not that the fact there are different sources, but it's just like so many minor
different
detail
sources.
changes. Yeah, that it just fucks with it, and I'm like,
See,
ugh.
and that's what I love about it. That's what makes it feel real in the
Oh
sense.
yeah, oh sure.
Yeah. So I mean, let's take the battle of, you know what? Let's just take like the Vietnam War for instance, man. I mean, depending on who you ask, or you know what? Let's
War.
Oh god, I'm
no.
not ready.
Oh boy.
just
here we go.
shut up. Shut up. Just
We're getting
depe-
controversial in episode 0.
Alright.
Yeah,
let
right.
him
No,
talk.
okay,
let him
fine.
talk.
Drunk
Fine.
for a reason.
No, let him
Fine.
talk.
No,
let
no,
him
no, no.
talk. No.
We'll do the Civil War then. All right, less
Oh, fine.
controversial. Basically, whoever you ask, depending on where they grew up. If you grew up in the South, I mean, it's very common to hear the sentiment that it was a war of northern aggression, blah blah blah. If you grew up in the North, it's the South started it. So that's where I'm getting at when I say it makes it feel real and alive. In that
Right.
there's so many differentiating sources based off of who you ask, that in a way, all of them could be true. If you somehow put all of them together, then somehow that maybe that's the real story.
I like that
Like-
take. That's
Yeah,
a good
I
take.
mean it's definitely interesting, but
Yeah, this is
I also
gonna be
just don't like Summer.
this is a common theme in like Elder Scrolls lore in general. There's a lot of unreliable narrators.
Even with Talos, I mean, there's two major differentiating sources as to where he even came
Jet.
from.
It's not even there's not even
one
a
right one and one wrong one.
Right one, wrong one.
yeah.
Yes.
No, one right one and two wrong ones, because there's sources that say he's a Breton and one saying he's an Imperial.
Why would he be a Breton? That
Because we don't truly know what race Talos Tiber Septim was. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
I thought he was an Imperial this whole time.
No, it's
With
depend.
a Nord.
Depends
Yeah.
on who you ask. He's either a Breton, an Imperial, or a Nord.
Okay, so if you ask a Nord, he's a Nord. If you ask a Breton, he's a Breton.
Yeah.
Alright.
All we know is that he's a man.
Alright, well, yeah.
Okay, hold on. Pause. Time out. Kala, can you have your mic on constant transmission? Because I feel like your mic cutting out a bunch is gonna like fuck with a lot of the audio
Oh, I'm
problems.
sorry. That's just that's just me doing push to talk.
Oh
And, like,
yeah.
Daniel's
I would
yelling in the
definitely
background.
if we're if only for recording purposes, I would definitely leave it on like either always transmitting or voice detection, just because like you cut out mid sentence. Actually,
All right, let me try.
or no, Press, do you get the same thing? Because I feel like we missed a lot of
Testing,
really
1,
good
2,
words
3,
from you.
testing.
I mean, I feel like it's fine.
I think I heard her the
All
whole
right,
time.
I turned it to voice activity. Is that any better?
Test,
I mean,
test,
I don't
test.
think you were cutting out. I think you were just. Whenever you ended, it felt like you cut out because it was so abrupt. Because, like, the very end of your last word would cut out because you were taking your finger off the push to talk button, so it kind of just felt like, Kala's definitively finished. Okay.
I
I don't know. I've been doing the
finished.
same thing.
I mean, if
I
I've been
missed-
like unmuting
I
and
missed
unmuting
entire
so you
thoughts,
get background from
but yeah.
Alex.
But no, I don't think that it says that he was born a Breton, if I remember correctly.
Don't
The
shit
Ortho-
on the Bretons.
No, I
It
know
was
that.
no. We're just saying Talos is like.
Yeah, no, I think that the other version says that he was still born, or is still considers him born a Nord. He was just born in High Rock instead of
So
Skyrim.
there's a
Yeah.
difference.
Okay,
He's
so
a
I can
Breton
see why
Nord.
people would call him a Breton. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
All we
he's not
know
Imperial,
was that,
so that's weird.
yeah,
Dude,
no,
imagine being an
no.
Imperial.
Tiber Septim was definitely a name that
Can't
he
imagine.
picked himself.
That's the Battle of Red Mountain.
That's the Battle of Red Mountain. We got way off topic there, and I love it.
Dude, yeah, I mean,
Drunk
that's the
for a reason.
point of this. The point is for
Yeah.
us to, like, explore everything in and out of it. And honestly, you see this in Halo 2. That, like, this mysterious
What?
race.
Trust,
No.
trust
Actually,
game. I love it.
dude, if you think about it, the Dwemer are the Forerunners in Halo. Prove
No,
me
they're
wrong.
not.
Yes, they are,
No,
bro.
they're not.
Yes,
We
they
know
are.
why the Forerunners die.
Yes. Listen to me. All right.
Oh my god.
Listen to me.
Oh boy.
Dare you? How
So-
dare you
Angel
try
and
and
Halo.
try and draw
Angel and
connections?
Halo
Bro, I'm
fandom
gonna draw
tonight, y'all.
connections because they're there. Look.
No,
They're-
they're not there.
Yes, they are. Listen to me. Listen to me and hear me out.
Hear him out. Hear him out.
So, okay,
Oh, no.
we have a mysterious race. Okay, I want you to think in the context of 1, 2, and 3 strictly. All right, we have a mysterious race. All right, that left behind these artifacts. We know nothing about them, right? It seems like everything they built is still operational, but that they have disappeared, right? And as you complete objectives, right? Like you have to like go do this and do that, right? As you explore their ruins, you find out more and more about them, right? Now, you see, this analogy could be taken to any quest that you do in ESO, in which you have to explore one of their dungeons and literally any of the Halo games. I mean, we know why the Forerunners... Oh, and also another thing, like, this mysterious race, if you read the lore, they turn out to be a bunch of jackasses, because the Forerunners in Halo were the biggest jackasses that ever existed. Like, literally.
True, Alex.
So I'm gonna explain to you why you're wrong.
Alright, yeah, sure.
Alright, so
have to
so
work for it.
basically, so the Forerunners are posed from the literary perspective of the Halo universe, especially in the original trilogy, as a precursor race that predates any of the races involved in the
Yes.
original, like, Halo universe, right?
Yeah.
That includes all the races of the Covenant and humans.
Yeah.
Although it is confirmed that they were around, sort of as a parent to all of those races at some point in time. The Dwemer, by comparison, are not necessarily seen as a supreme and or precursor race, whereas they were just simply a misunderstood society. I think of more
Oh.
the Dwemer are more literarily posed as something akin to our understanding of Atlantis, right? An advanced society that isn't necessarily superseding our own. The only reason I point this out is because the role of the Dwemer is very different from the role of the Forerunners. The Forerunners provide the entire setting for most of the major events in which Halo occurs, right? Without
Yeah.
the Forerunners, you don't have the Halo rings. You also don't. Well, actually, you do technically have the Flood, but so technically, you could say the Primordials, which are the precursors to the Forerunners.
Yeah. That's a whole nother. That's a whole
involved
nother
with
box of
the-
worms.
That's actually gone over in the Halo 3 access points, if you didn't know.
Yeah. I read
yeah.
and also
The Mendicant Bias and
Yes, I was just about to mention that
Yeah.
terminal.
We are getting quite off from
Mendicant Bias is
Tamriel.
pretty cool. But
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
point is, right? And no, it's interesting to talk about like the stance of the Dwemer relative to their story and like the Elder Scrolls story, because I think that's a really important thing to point out. And you're right. You're rightfully pointing out the concept of like mystery and like them disappearing as playing a part of their major, I guess, roles within the series, because that is very real, right? The
Yeah.
Forerunners and the Dwemer are both like gone races that you
Yeah.
have to like really. That's enjoyable to like find things out about them, to learn secrets, to unlock new technologies or whatever it may be that's involved with them.
By the way,
which
Black
is
Reach is in Greymore. Just saying,
Gotcha.
practical.
so that'll be really cool
Black Reach.
to.
Uh,
Yeah, I think that's a major part of that franchise. These two franchises that definitely like make them both interesting. Like that is an interesting aspect. But the Dwemer, I think, are like they're definitely posed as really cool. They're like this race that either from whoever you ask, right? They made a mistake or they unlock something extremely powerful, right? You don't really know, but they know something that you don't. And like the player is interested in finding out, and it seems every Elder Scrolls sort of installment that we get kind of delves a little bit deeper into that mystery and gives us a little bit more answers, but also raises more questions, which is super cool.
yeah.
Yes.
I think that,
Which is
and that
funny 'cause-
culminates their disappearance, right? Because you wonder, on top of all the cool shit they know, like, and you wonder how they know it, but also like where the fuck did they go?
Yeah.
That's why the Red Mountain is cool.
Maybe they
Set that
went
all up.
into the fourth dimension.
Oh, I personally think they got scorned. I think fucking Akatosh probably was like, yeah, fuck you. Can't use the Heart of Lorcan. Fucking exterminated.
They've hit non-existence now.
Yeah. And then obviously because the Chimer were resisting, they got some fucking perks. They got a little, something for resisting the fucking non-believers.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I
That's
can't
pretty
wait
fair.
for the
Exactly what I
podcast
believe.
in which Aaron just fucking rants about the tribunal in full visceral detail.
Oh boy! We'll have to
Tribunal
do
are
another
fucked up.
episode at some point about going into the actual story of the game Morrowind for that one.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
Just play Morrowind. Play
Yeah.
Morrowind.
No, no.
Old games are still
I
good.
want my
That
quest
requires
markers.
You play Morrowind.
It
I'm not
requires dealing with Morrowind's
Morrowind.
game mechanics, and I
Ew, no.
hate the lack of markers.
Morrowind.
I have no sense of direction. I can't.
Well,
fucking
then I
point.
guess you
Why are
better
you playing?
learn.
Yeah, why are you playing games to be handheld? Oh,
I don't want
Because
to be
it's
handheld,
fun.
but
in your way.
listen,
I'd
I have
rather-
no sense of direction.
Yeah. And I'd rather
look at your map.
like
Why is that a problem? Like, what is so bad about Morrowind's game mechanics?
oh
The
my
Morrowind
A
God.
lot of
Okay.
people don't like A lot of people
Okay.
don't like Morrowind's game mechanics because there are no like Rebecca and Pressigo said. There's no.
There's no map markers. The journal lays all your quests out in chronological order, whether
pretty
or
sick.
not you completed them. Even after you complete them, they're still there. As well, the gameplay is that it's a dice roll. Whenever you try to land a hit on someone, it like calculates your skill versus like a hit chance, and it decides whether or not your sword swing actually hurt the enemy.
Yeah, that's a little fucky, but I do like the quests. So, like, when you get a quest in Morrowind, that like it's not like I marked the location on your map. It's not that stupid shit.
No,
You,
they
like,
give you directions.
They give you directions. You like hold up you have like a quest and you like read it and you're like, yeah, I'm supposed to like go this way and then turn left and then go this way and then turn right at the
Southwest
tree
side
and then I'm there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck
That's pretty
that.
chill, except I agree with Rebecca on this one. I would get lost turning at my first tree. I'd be
Yeah.
like, am I
Yeah.
supposed to go right or left?
Yeah.
And I would be like, I have to go right, and then I would go left.
See, I enjoy that. For me, my only biggest concern for Morrowind, which is more or less that games have evolved over time. I mean, yeah, the graphics are bad, but for me, it's more or less that everybody walks around like they have to take a dump, and that's just very
I
off-putting
can
for
get
me.
over the graphics, but yeah, Khajiit walk like they shit their pants.
That is really funny.
Because they
Okay,
still
wait, I'm gonna have
have
to look this up later. Hold the fuck up.
they were still really working on solidifying the design for Khajiit. So I think they're Suthes or Cathays.
Well, you gotta understand too. This was their first major
3D.
3D installation.
I Google
Oh,
Khajiit
no,
Morrowind,
you
and the first thing that comes up is the walking animation.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
had
'cause they have
what do you
cat legs. That's why, because they have like more animalistic cat legs.
Oh god.
Yeah.
The Khajiit.
Oh, yes.
from-
I have pulled it up.
You're fucking awful.
This isn't even a Khajiit.
No, they walk like they have to
Oh,
poop.
You're so bad. The Argonian
Oh,
one
look
is
at old sugar lips.
Oh dear!
So bad. It's such a
sounds-
funny.
What the fuck is this?
He sounds very concerned.
Oh my god, now I have to see this.
Oh,
Yeah,
Lord.
it's pretty goofy.
Oh, Lord. Did these people even look at how either humans or lizards walk?
Argonian one, yeah.
The Argonian one looks less like he has to take a dump and more like someone just something
Alright, guys, I'm
forcibly went up his butt, and now he's very much in pain. I mean, I would be
Oh,
too.
humans have sticks up their asses? Confirmed?
This one forgot to use the Astroglide first.
Jesus God.
Oh
Why?
god. This
Oh,
one
you're right. The
took a
Kaji
drag.
is weird. Oh, that's
Ew,
so
what the
weird.
hell's up with their feet? Ew.
It's like they're attempting to tiptoe, but they just failed. You know?
Yeah, what's wrong with their feet is that they tried to lean more towards the cat in the cat-human scale in terms of legs, and I appreciate that, but that design was ahead of its time in terms of how the hell are we going to rig this animation?
But no,
Oh.
like, I will always love Morrowind. All right, look, you can pick up things so useless like napkins and forks and things like that. And you're like, why do I need?
I need napkins and forks. What the fuck?
Yeah.
How else are you supposed to
Yes.
eat your 18 wheels of cheese?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I show you Ysgrimmor's soup spoon. I mean, you can pick up a ton of useless shit in other Elder Scrolls games.
Oh, 100%. But with this one, it was more or less, it was that you could pick up almost anything. Like, okay, in Skyrim and Oblivion, can you pick up candles? No, you can't. You can pick up candles in Morrowind. And that's what I appreciate about the game, is just that everything is there and you can mess with it.
Okay.
Alright, yeah,
Are we
guys,
good?
We
Yeah.
we have officially passed an hour, literally, as you were saying that. So does anyone have any more remarks, any statements?
I'm just,
Someone
Oh.
left.
Wow.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Toxic.
That's a
Toxic.
statement.
That's a
Just,
statement.
I hope any future listeners enjoyed this. This is really a trial run, but I hope it was also informative for any lore noobs out there.
Like I
Like
said before,
myself.
like I said at the beginning, a shit show event for a shit show of a podcast.
Yay.
I'm a lore noob, though. I think we should do a whole podcast on the tribunal because I feel like I've become more confused the longer this podcast went on.
So, I hope that you also become you've also become concerned at their tomfoolery.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that too. But
I do
Yeah.
not like Almalexia as a person, okay?
I think Aaron here has very strong opinions on the tribunal. Isn't that right?
The
tribunal-
water is turning, the water is, turning the tribunal gay?
Oh my god. Oh, alright, Alex Jones.
Yeah. Alright, guys. So, yeah, any other closing statements?
Alex?
I am drinking a very nice rye whiskey today.
Hmm.
What is
Yes,
everyone else drinking?
I am
God.
going to. I need another bottle of rabbit's foot mead. Damn
Rab-
best mead I've ever had.
Okay.
whatever the hell Alex handed me,
Nice. Yeah.
I don't. Maybe brandy? We haven't discovered it yet.
We should figure out a way to super cut that into the beginning. What are you drinking today?
Oh, yeah. No, it's too late for that. It's okay. Next time.
Oh well,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be messy.
That's the intro. That's the intro to the podcast. Is what are you drinking? And
Alright.
is it
Along with-
strong enough to withstand these lore conversations?
Along with a killer, along with a killer guitar riff or something. I would prefer it to be done by Ronnie James Dio and the band Dio, but unfortunately, Ronnie James Dio passed, so that is out of the question.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We'll just go on Fiverr and pay someone.
All right.
We'll pay the guy that asked for your credit card number.
Hey, the Ugandan prince.
You?
No, the guy with the Fortnite credit card number scam.
No, it's,
Oh
oh my
god.
god. Fucking a Red Guard Prince.
Ha! Some red guard prince wants your social security number.
Urban elves.
Oh god. Anyway,
That's
yeah,
not
guys.
making it in there.
Yeah, no, I'm cutting that part out. And then we're gonna resume here. All right, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this week's and first episode of Drunk Tamriel History. Hopefully, everyone enjoyed it. I certainly learned a bit, even though we are definitely going to need to expand on some things next week because me and Brooke here are pretty lost. Anyway.
Yeah, noobs!
Wow, the lore noobs are lost. What a surprise, am I right?
Also, one of you didn't even start in the Ebonheart Pact in ESO, so you gotta catch up even more.
Hey.
Hey, you know what?
Okay, two of you.
I started in Daggerfall Covenant.
Oh wait,
so-
I really thought that was a jab at me there.
No, it's at me because I've started everything else except Ebonheart Pact because Nords are smelly and I don't want anything to do with them.
I feel like I might have.
Fair.
And yet you want to deliver Blackpaw's meat.
To be fair, quest-wise, of all the three factions, the Ebonheart Pax was very
Is the
much a
weakest.
letdown. It was very much a letdown. You actually picked the best. Daggerfall Covenant by far has the best storyline.
Ay. All right, but yeah.
Hey.
Thank you for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next.